it makes my heart so happy to see like these kids, they're continuing to grow with camp. They went to camp, they got to experience their camper years, and now they're getting to give back to the camp, give back to the campers, continue to like make camp grow, which is awesome.
Hello and welcome to the S'more Stories podcast, brought to you by Camp Boggy Creek near sunny Orlando, Florida. Founded by actor Paul Newman and General Norman Schwarzkopf, Camp Boggy Creek provides life-changing camp experiences to children with serious medical illnesses at zero cost to their families. In our podcast, we'll talk about the impact that recreational therapy has on children, stories of campers, their families, staff members, volunteers, and all who have been part of the magic that is Camp Boggy Creek. Enjoy the show, and hey, to learn more about Camp Boggy Creek, visit boggycreek.org.
Hello and welcome back to S'more Stories. I'm here with Allie once again today. Hi, how are you, Allie?
I'm doing good. It's a good day here at Camp Boggy Creek.
Yeah, yes. It was a little gloomy for a second there, but the sun's starting to shine.
Yes.
We're getting a little sunshine. So Allie, I do know you have a personal experience with volunteering, and you also do aid in the volunteering recruitment process. Do you have any personal stories of your time as a volunteer and how that shaped you in a way?
Yeah, so for me, I started volunteering at family retreat weekends, and that's a weekend-long retreat where the whole family gets to come and experience camp together. And as a volunteer, you get paired with one family all weekend long, getting to experience camp with them. I remember my first session, I got paired with this one camper and his family, and they were just so welcoming and inviting. I felt like I was part of their family, getting to do activities. It was their first time ever coming to camp. And he got to try all new different types of things. He got to try archery for the first time. He caught a fish at boating and fishing. We ate spaghetti with our face, and we did all of the fun activities. And it was his first time ever coming to camp, and which is really awesome because I get to see him continue coming to camp. Yeah. Does he maybe not remember who I am? Probably, because he was around 8 years old, and now I don't know how old he is now, but it's awesome to see, like my first camper I got to work with grow up and continue coming to camp. And that's just something. You get to follow
along that journey and kind of foster that connection, even if perhaps he doesn't remember you.
Yes, I'm a silent cheerleader is what I always call myself.
Oh, you're back again this year. That's amazing. So when you speak about to reoccurring volunteers, do you notice there's like a general statement that is said often about camp that you're like, yeah, I've heard that one. Like,
yeah, I love hearing how excited people are to come back. That is something that I get pretty often, is from people telling me how they're excited to come back. I always ask people what activity they're looking forward to. What are they looking forward to the session? It's either from they're looking forward to doing Silly Olympics again, or they're looking forward to just seeing a cabin of campers who don't know each other, meet each other and become friends that will last a lifetime usually. And so it's just everybody's pure excitement of coming back to camp. This is a magical, exciting place. And these volunteers are really excited to come back and see the magic again and experience camp, experience the fun. This is a place where they are often, they get to like disconnect and just like reconnect with their like reason why. A lot of my volunteers are med students, so they spend majority of their time like learning about the illnesses, practicing being a doctor, doing stuff like this. But this helps them remember why they're doing this. This is the reason why it helps fill their cup up of like, this is what we're going to help these humans.
This is my driving factor, and that humanization. Like, okay, I'm working towards helping these people, not just, I'm looking forward to helping a blank canvas, I guess you could say. It's, I'm going to help somebody later along the line that I can physically see myself helping. So like it's a humanization element of, okay, I'm working towards a goal in order to help this person.
Yeah.
And you can have that person in front of you, or those people, that group of people, and you can just visualize your future and and renew yourself with that driving factor of, okay, because I think to talk about that, even for the volunteer, perhaps if they are coming from a medical background that you spoke, that some are coming from med school, things along those lines, there's burnout there.
There is, yeah.
And then they get to have this experience where they can feel fulfilled. They can also have a little like, oh, this is fun for me too. Like,
it is.
I get to have fun alongside the camper. And I also get to be part of this beautiful experience for this person as well, while also having a beautiful experience myself. So I think that's incredible. So we do know here at camp, it is an incredibly impactful experience for everybody involved. Have you had the experience where volunteers really grasp the magnitude of what exactly we're doing here at camp, and perhaps remark about how they thought, oh, this is just like a simple, like, oh, I'm just trying to get volunteer hours or something like that. And it completely changed them as a person, because I don't believe in coincidences. I feel like you're always kind of guided, and perhaps like you've heard of like anyone having that.
There is definitely, so when you do come to camp and volunteer, you get a lot of hours. So that is something that we're able to provide people. And that's why a lot of people come, is they realize, oh, if I come for a week of summer camp, I can get 100 hours. Or if I come for a weekend long retreat during our family retreats, I can get 35 hours. So we have that aspect of, we can help a lot of people get their volunteer hours. But when they do come, they see what camp is, what it means that we're here, and what we're able to, like our mission and what we're able to provide these campers, that they end up talking about camp. They tell their friends, they tell their classmates, they tell their professors. And our biggest recruitment aspect of like getting volunteers is word of mouth. That is how, when I talk to a volunteer and ask them how did they learn about camp, majority of them tell me that they heard from a friend. They heard from their roommate that came to camp last summer. They heard from somebody they just saw a camp shirt walking on campus, and they asked them. So the aspect of people, they see why we are and who we are and what we're able to provide these campers, and they just grasp on it. If they are able to come back, they come back. If they're unable to, then they tell their friends, they tell more, and they end up coming to camp, which is the giant vastness of how we get volunteers. And it's so beautiful to see it happen.
Yeah, because I mean, I found myself, the minute I learned about camp, I was telling everybody about camp.
Yeah.
I was like, there's this beautiful, wonderful experience that I think everybody should have the chance to experience. And I didn't even do the whole volunteer experience. I came here for a tour, and I spoke with multiple people throughout the organization. And even I was like, oh, there's this great camp like that you can go volunteer at. Whenever anybody was mentioning like needing to volunteer or wanting to volunteer or anything along those lines. But I feel like it just, in general, it's such a great experience for the volunteer as well. Like you touched on it. You have that personal testimony of this was great for me to get to help somebody, and it fulfilled my need.
Majority of the time when you come to camp, you're coming for the aspect of wanting to provide these campers with this experience, but you end up getting so much more out of it. You learn more. You learn about yourself. You learn how to be even kinder human. You learn how to work with people. Generally, like actually, what a volunteer learns is what I learned as a volunteer. I take into my further endeavors. My further endeavors kept with me at Camp Boggy Creek, but I kept everything. I learned leadership skills. I learned communication skills. I learned how to talk to people in team meetings. I learned how to talk to people. Just to talk to people in different aspects. And you learn so much that like you can take this on your further endeavors as well. And Camp Boggy Creek is a great reference of like any sorts of being on your resume, because we are a well-known company, and it like helping out kids with a chronic illness is such like a magical thing that you like did, and people are going to ask you about your time volunteering with camp.
Yeah, and I think the experience at camp is just, it's so unique.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not a give or take experience. It's a give and give and give and give experience. Like, it's not, the investment of time and all of that is returned back tenfold. Because as you said, it gives you soft skills such as communication, all of these things. Gives you communication skills, socialization. It teaches you grace. It teaches you kindness. All of these amazing things, and it's just a giving experience as well. And it's amazing.
Yeah, and getting to watch some of our volunteers continue to grow here at camp is so amazing. We have, I've seen volunteers, like, they start off coming for family retreat weekends, and they find that they love this place so much that they had, like, such a great experience working with their campers, working with the other staff members, that they want to apply for summer staff, and they are here for summer staff, which is so amazing aspect too. So it's like you continue getting to, like, grow with camp, and you get to continue growing here as well.
I think definitely there is always that, of course, there's the focus on the campers, but the volunteers, I was speaking with Dan about this. Camp goes with you. And you learn so much at camp. You learn how to navigate so many different things. You learn confidence. You talked about leadership. You learn, and these are skills that you take with you.
Yeah, it is. Camp
goes with you. You take that experience and you take these skills and you find power in them. And you excel in multiple aspects. Perhaps somebody had trouble with communication and they came here for a volunteer experience, and now they're doing amazing and they're able to communicate more because those skills were honed in on while they were here. And so it just provides in so many aspects, and it allows for growth, not only for the camper, but also for the volunteer. And then there's always that bond made too. We talk about connections quite frequently. There's that connection made between camper and volunteer, between the families of the campers, between other volunteers. There's that level of camaraderie between volunteers and your peers and other people along in the organization that you get to carry with you.
Yeah.
And you get to, and everybody here is very open to speak. Members of the organization in different sectors, other volunteers, you get to hear different aspects. That socialization element also plays in, even on the volunteer level.
Yeah, it does.
You're talking with other volunteers who are perhaps maybe in school with you or similar majors. And it's just that connection is being fostered on a variety of different levels. So that's what I kind of touch on in, it's such a giving experience. And I think,
and it's something that I like. So we have a lot of volunteers that I've just recently spoken to. Even just like I've actually always been talking to these people, and it's just exciting to see some of like our former campers continuing to grow after they aged out and signing up to volunteer. Getting to talk with them is probably like, that makes me so happy, because I asked them, like, how are you going to be a good role model for your campers? And they're telling me that they're going to remember what their counselors did for them. They're going to remember, like, the fun that their counselors were able to provide them, and want to be able to give it back to their campers, to provide that magic, provide that fun, provide that life-changing experience that they got as a camper, and being able to give that to their campers. And it makes my heart so happy to see like these kids, like they're continuing to grow with camp. They went to camp, they got to experience their camper years, and now they're getting to give back to their give back to the camp, give back to the campers, and continue to like make camp grow, which is awesome.
And progress, like overall, just improve, because also if you come in from a camper standpoint into the volunteer standpoint, if there is any area that you're like, oh, maybe we could do this, or things along those lines, or maybe we can change this up because I noticed this as a camper. It's that different outlook that allows us to ever adapt.
Yeah.
That adaptability and that receptiveness to feedback as well.
I always remember, like, for me, when I was, like, during my counselor times, I drew a lot of things that we did when I was a camper. Like, I took the stuff that I did when I was, like, a camper that my counselors, like, led for me, and I took that and I made sure that, like if I had an activity that I remember so vividly in my brain and like having like the most fun at it, I was like, oh, I want to be able to provide that for my campers. We did, when I was a camper, we had something called the Rave, which was a dance party with where we had juice and music and snacks, and we danced in the arts and crafts building. We turned off all the lights and we had some like fun lights going on. And I remember that was like a highlight of my week when I was a camper. And I was like, this is something I need to provide for my campers this summer. And so last summer I was able to provide the Rave, and I just, knowing like the counselors who came for that session, like the volunteers who were there and were in those cabins, have come back and they're like, that was such an awesome experience. Like that's something that, like, I know that was a great session and a great week that we had, but I'm ready to do it again. And all the counselors that I worked with that session have come back and are coming back for this summer, which makes my heart so happy because they were amazing.
Yeah, I think seeing the possibilities, the realm of possibilities. And as I said before, it's not just, it's overall an impactful experience for the volunteer as well as the camper. You're also seeing you're seeing the light come into people's life, and you're able to, in a way, foster that and guide that. And I think that helps you as a person develop yourself. So I think that's quite amazing.
It is.
What are some things going on this summer? I know we have a few new things added. What are some of the volunteer experiences?
So the structure of the summer, we're going to have 8 sessions of summer camp. Each session will be 5 days for the campers to come and experience camp. And the volunteers come a day before the campers so that they can meet the other summer staff and volunteers that they will be working with. The volunteers will go through a volunteer orientation to learn more about camp, to learn about some of our policies and procedures, and they'll get a tour of camp. They will get to meet with their cabin team, and they'll meet with the medical team as well. And we'll prepare and get everything set up for our campers to arrive. And we'll have our campers arrive. Each one of our volunteers will be a cabin counselor this summer. And so they will be paired in one cabin all week long, getting to sleep and live and play in one cabin with that cabin of campers. Each cabin will have around 2 summer staff members and 2 to 3 other volunteer counselors. We'll have 6 to 10 campers per cabin. And they will get to do so many awesome, fun activities. Everything from my personal favorite day, which is the Olympic Day, where they start off the day. Every day we start off with morning manatee, where we get to, the campers get to choose which activity they get to go to. And we take our counselors, all of our cabin counselors, that includes summer staff and volunteers, get to take our campers to different activities around camp. And then we get to sing and dance at breakfast. We get to eat yummy breakfast as well, which love the food here at camp. And after each meal, we sing, we dance, we do cheers. The dining hall is probably one of my favorite places. The counselors get to go with their cabins to all the activities we have here at camp, and we have so many activities that we're going to have.
I think that's amazing too. That you feel a sense of almost family because you're with the same group of people.
Yeah.
So you get to, for those 5 days, you get that becomes your family.
That becomes,
you are now family with that little group of people. They're all your people.
Those
are your people. And you get to foster that connection.
Yeah.
Even for 5 days, but you get to foster that connection that you could perhaps take with you forever.
Yeah. I've seen volunteers, I've seen volunteers from last summer. There's these 2 girls. Oh my gosh, this story makes me so happy. They met at camp. Somehow they were put in the same cabin together, and they became such good friends. I see them on social media they're posting, getting to hang out with each other all the time. They both came back and volunteered together for a family retreat weekend. I'm really hoping they come back again. If you hear this, come back, come for the summer. It'll be so fun. And so it's a connection that you get with the other the other counselors that you're working with. You get to work with the campers that you are getting to work with all week. You get to see the campers foster friendship within each other, which is so amazing and magical to see campers becoming friends. Yeah, and so
I think we're in the business of making connections here at Camp Boggy Creek. That's literally every time it's just like that connection in every aspect. You're connecting with staff, with other volunteers. You're connecting with everyone.
Yeah.
Connecting with camp, as it is. And I think that's amazing. Thank you for speaking with me today.
Awesome.
I love talking to you again. Hopefully I get to have you a few more times.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love getting to speak with you.
You're welcome.
But thank you for giving me insight on the volunteer experience and getting to talk through it with me. I appreciate you.
Of course. I love talking about it.
Thanks so much for listening to S'more Stories and for sharing this podcast with a friend. To learn more about Camp Boggy Creek and its year-round programming, ways to get involved, or ways to give, visit boggycreek.org. Thanks again for listening and for sharing the magic that is Camp Boggy Creek.